Podigious!
天使が期待満ちてだけど頼りない翼でもきっと飛べるさ Oh my love
Welcome to Podigious, episode T3.1, Confession, Decompression, Procession, Digression.
Podigious is your critically nostalgic, analytical tour through the Digimon anime.
I'm Jeff Ruberg.
And I'm Ashley McDonald.
And we're back today to talk more about Try Chapter 3 Confession, with 5 special guests. If you haven't heard it yet, we also had a more standard review format episode covering this movie with the 4 Podigious co-hosts. We also wanted to chat about the movie with guests from around the internet, and mainly wanted to give a platform to people well known in the anime community but who might not have a dedicated space to gush about Digimon. We also wanted to feature a variety of perspectives, so our guests include people from an anime site, a gaming site, the anime industry itself, the fan art community, and the anime YouTube scene. We recorded these interviews over the span of several weeks, so some information we had access to at the time, like the Try Chapter 4 poster, varies between each discussion, so keep that in mind.
Without further ado, our first guest is Jacob Chapman, Associate Editor at Anime News Network.
Digimon was a formative thing for me. It was kind of what got me into anime, which I now work on in my livelihood, so that's exciting. And I grew up on it. I got into anime through it, and I now review anime for a living and look over other people's reviews and editorialize and all this other stuff. Run interviews, and I back when I made videos before I was working full-time on editorial, it was one of my most popular videos was a Digimon retrospective. So it's kind of given me only good things, I guess, over the years. And now that Try has come out, it's entertaining to see it in theaters in Japanese with grown adults who grew up with it, who brought Patamon backpacks and stuff like that. And, it's surreal and it's exciting. So I don't know. It's just a big warm, fuzzy part of my life.
And of the seasons, which have you seen and which was your favorite? Just to give people your DNA as a Digimon fan.
Right, yeah. I've seen the first 5. I've seen up through Sabers. After that, I kind of fell away from it a little bit. I tried to watch Cross Wars, but it just... I was just too busy to really keep up with it, and I saw the episode in Travelers Through Time where or Hunters Through Time, whatever it's called, where all of the Digidestined come back or whatever. But as far as ones that I remember fondly, just the first 4, and then I hated season 5, and then I'm loving Try. So yeah. Oh, and favorite series, Digimon Tamers. Yes, definitely. Although Try is getting up there just as its own thing. Adventure, I would say, they're all the same thing, but people separate 0, 2 and Adventure, so why can't we separate Try and Adventure? And I would say Try is worming its way into my heart as my favorite, depending on where it's going. Yeah,
the upward trajectory it's gone on so far, it could end up being amazing, or it could just this is the best that we've seen of it.
It could fall apart, but I'm really impressed with what I've seen so far, so yeah.
Okay, so moving into your general impressions of this third movie, if you had to summarize the third movie in one word, what would it be?
Heartbreaking, but not in a bad way, in a good way.
Entertainingly heartbreaking.
Shockingly heartbreaking, yeah. Not depressing. Depressing implies that, it was dark or something. It wasn't. It was just sad. Everything's gonna be okay. It's just not okay yet, and and it was not okay for a long time because that movie was 1 hour and 40 minutes of being not okay. So that's my take on it. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm always so conflicted when things are sad, and then I'm but a good type of sad, cathartic sad. I don't know.
Yeah, I wrote about the movie for Anime News Network, and I had to really think. I was well, am I going to give this a high score just because it was really sad? Is this my, bias for pathos and agony kind of coming, overtaking how good it actually was? And so I watched it a couple times, and it was no, this is just really great. It just happens to be sad, but it's also really great. I think it would have been, if something of that quality could also be happy, this just wasn't.
Do you have any favorite parts from this movie?
There's so many. I guess if I had to pick one favorite part, it would be where the moment where Tentamon tells Izzy that the great thing about not knowing anything, about feeling powerless and feeling like you don't, and feeling ignorant, is that you can learn, like that there is more to discover, and he said the joy is in the discovery, and and I thought that was really moving, not only just because from Tentamon right before he's about to like sacrifice himself, but because it reminded me why everybody loves Izzy so much is that Digimon has always had a great empathy for children. Like, there's a lot of kids shows that I think we can all kind of admit hate children. Like, kids shows that are made by people who don't really like children or think that they're stupid and annoying, and here, just give them the screaming thing. And and Digimon not only like seems to have great empathy for children, but like has great empathy for nerdy kids. There's not just a nerd character. Like, Izzy is, first of all, Izzy is almost like overblown loved by the show because he's like a successful entrepreneur in Tri. He eats at fancy French restaurants and has a giant apartment for Japan, and he's been rewarded beyond his wildest dreams in this show. Sorry, I'm getting over strep throat, which I had for a week and I'm recovering. But so if I cough a little bit, I apologize.
It's fine.
But yeah, like the show is just very, very. It really encourages kids to learn and not be educated, but encourages kids to have a thirst and a yearning for curiosity. That's really, it's really, really heartfelt. And so, yeah, it just Tentamon telling Izzy that it's okay to not know the answers, and to feel like you are powerless and that you're ignorant or being kept out of something because someday you won't be. And it's like, if you just don't give up being curious, and it's like, feelings fall out on the ground. So I guess that was my favorite moment.
That was one of my favorite moments too. And we got that line printed on the buttons we made that have like the artwork we got for Tri Chapter 3. And I was like, oh, this line is so, the line also like ties in thematically to like the forgetting and how they're going to have to relearn their memories. Well, who knows how that's going to play out, but like, just giving into Izzy or Koshiro's reaction at the end of the movie that like he can face it much more with not courage, but he's able to accept the situation much more because Tentamon taught him that like, there's always potential to relearn their friendship.
Right. As children, the Digimon acted like mirrors for their development. Where they weren't necessarily teaching them things. The Digimon weren't smarter than them. They're like pets, but they acted as mirrors to help them develop and learn things, and they kind of helped them and sheltered them through that. And now that they're starting to become adults. That's my other favorite line, is Tai says, if we keep waiting for them to show up, we're going to turn into adults, so we got to go right now. Like, that was the greatest line. And I was like, the funny thing about that is they kind of already are, but right on the cusp before they kind of become adults and have to let go of all that stuff, it's already happened to them with their Digimon. They are now the parents to their Digimon. They're literally the relationship has changed. For the first time ever in the franchise, the relationship between them and their partners has changed. Like, not even in the epilogue do you get this sense that they are now parenting their own, little baby monsters. But you get that sense at the end of Tri, and it's like, feelings. I can't believe how much this movie made me feel. I gave it an A. I love Digimon, but I never thought, if I was giving out letter grades, which I don't love doing, but it's part of the review process, you give out grades. I love Digimon, and I don't think I would give even the most beloved parts of it like an A on sort of a critical level, and I gave it an A. Like, I was like, this is just really good storytelling.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd seen it, but like before the movie came out, there have been a couple people speculating about some kind of plotline like this, like the Digimon having to lose their memories and that being the stakes they're fighting for. And I was just like, I don't want to think about that too much because that's just too good for like, it's going to just ruin the movie for me if they don't go that direction. So like, because it perfectly ties into how we're experiencing it now 15 years later, and the emotional attachment to us is the memories that like we're kind of dealing in the same kind of currency that they are.
Yeah, you don't expect a property for children like that ages with you. It's kind of like Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter is one of those rare things that aged with people, and they came out with that stage play, The Cursed Child, I think it's called. And it's like, and it addresses all this stuff in retrospect from a more adult point of view. And you don't expect kids media to do that. You just don't. Even the good stuff, like if it gets a revisit for kids, you just expect nostalgia and remember this, don't you like this? You know, kind of, you don't expect it to like comment on your own childhood in retrospect. But like Harry Potter did that. It's very rare. And now Digimon's done that. And it's like, oh, I feel honored. This is like a treasure. This doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's so weird because like so much about Hollywood these days is about remaking and nostalgia and stuff, but doesn't ever seem to go in that direction. It's always just like, oh, we made it again, so here, enjoy it again.
Well, it's a huge risk because you're risking people going, I don't want this part of my childhood darkened with the, you know, like everybody knows growing up sucks. I don't want people go to media for escapism, and you risk your audience being like, no, I went to this for escapism and happy feelings as a kid. I don't need this like tainted with mature emotions. And that's understandable, but I want it tainted with mature emotions. And that's what I got. It's like, no, I don't go to media for escapism personally. I go to it for sort of emotional exploration, you know, and emotional exercise.
I definitely think I was thinking about this today. I was like, Try is really manipulating me, thinking like, oh, you think it's so easy to like just be a child again if we reboot everything, but you'll be like, no, it's still sad, like you can't go back, guys. And I'm just like, oh, it's all so tragic and manipulative, but like good manipulative.
What's funny is, well, I saw the dub of the first movie in theaters, and it ended with, we're going to show you about the first 10 minutes of the next movie. And it's like, oh, that's exciting. So, and I remember thinking, oh, that was dark. And I had no idea, because the first 10 minutes of that movie is just the preamble. It's just like this is a little bit sad. It's before you get to Patamon making those weird insect noises and his eyes turning white, and then biting TK's arm while TK like tries to hide that he's trying to pretend everything's fine. Was like, I was going like at the screen, just going like I was so upset by it because it was just touching this visceral nerve of I'm pretty hard to phase, but that was. It was touching this visceral nerve of something that I thought was safe, like something was safe and simple and protected in Digimon. And turning Patamon into an evil vampire, and not in a grim, dark way, because they've done that in the show all the time. It's not in a dramatic way, but in this sort of like hushed, very matter-of-fact, like, oh, your pet is dying kind of way. Like, where it's like, I'm so upset.
Yeah, and the way they frame that scene too, it's like before Patamon turns, it's shown from TK's point of view, like he's looking down at him. So I just assumed once his eyes turned that it was just a dream and it was like not actually happening, and it was TK's like worst case scenario in his mind.
Yeah, it was denial.
Yeah, but once he actually bit him, I was like, oh no, this is real now. Like this isn't like, yeah.
Yeah, God.
But I was kind of also like, oh, Patamon's finally living up to his bat-looking nature.
That's true.
Yeah. The bat wings are just for show. And and of course the follow-up to that, which is it's like, wow, the dynamic has changed between them, like to more of a parent and child thing, where Patamon looks at him and he's like, you know, I know I'm sick. You don't have to act like I'm not sick. I know that. And it's like, he's so sweet about it. He's like, it's okay. We'll send me somewhere far away so I don't hurt anybody. I won't make anybody cry. And it's like, too late.
Too late, we're already crying.
Too late.
I really like that too, about the way the previews showed Patamon saying goodbye, and I was like, so that's what it's going to be about. He's going to be infected and then have to leave, and that's what will be really sad, is that he has to leave. So I didn't any of the stuff, the actually sad stuff, I did not see coming. I was like, whoa. Yeah.
It keeps giving you outs too, because it's like, oh, here's a little quarantine cube, and it's like, oh, well, will only some of them go in it? None of them will go in it, actually. Nothing will work.
I'm a little bit concerned for the next movie and how there might just be some new mechanic that's introduced that erases all of this sadness, and it's just like, oh yeah, they all got their memories back. It's okay.
It could definitely happen, but I have so much faith in whoever this writer is, the screenwriter lady who's worked on like a bunch of little kid shows. She doesn't have a history with Digimon. She's just written like a bunch of Precure type kids shows. Whoever she is, she understands these characters really well. So, I mean, if she's writing all of them, I kind of trust her to carry the emotional through line all the way through, because it's been so good so far. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I could totally be jinxing it, but the only place the movies have ever stumbled in characterization at all was Tai in the first movie, which was not bad. It was just kind of weirdly carried out. And maybe it was a directorial problem where they wanted to show more like actual harm or damage, and they had to change something at the last second. But it was that was just a small stumble. But everything else has been like, damn, are you sure you didn't like help write Adventure? Because this stuff is spot on to the characters, like really, really perfect for them.
Yeah, it's uncanny. It also makes you wonder like how much of that characterization was actually pretty simple in retrospect. And we're like, oh my god, they nailed it, but it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's not rocket science or anything, but they are like, for archetypes for a kid's show, they were always pretty complex. Yeah. So maybe it's simple for teens and adults watching it, but for a kid's show, they've always been pretty complexly written, especially like Mimi and Joe and even Ty. All of them except the babies. Like TK, they had to make up characterization for in this because he doesn't really have it. And same with Kari. But what they added for them was really good. Like I really like Kari as the cut the bullshit voice of truth character, which she's become. Like wasn't before. She didn't really have a whole lot going on before. But like all the other girls are the like healing or sensitive. Like Mimi's the fun aunt or the best friend, and Sora's the mom. And then Kari, she's kind of the cut the bullshit therapist. Like, you need to get your stuff together, and, this is what your problem is. You have to do this. Don't make me make you, that kind of a thing. and it, it's great. It's like, oh, that's a good place to take that. Like, that's a good place to take that idea of this character represents purity. What's that mean? She's pure, objective, like, sort of truth, I guess. She sees and knows the truth behind things.
She can get possessed by
things.
That's
because she gets possessed by
God,
things.
yeah. Well, that was exciting. This movie like delved into lore that had kind of been forgotten as the Digimon universe has gotten more specific and changed to like specific reference, like Yggdrasil and stuff. Which I think that's generic. But this is going back to like Adventure had this sort of non-specific eldritch weirdness to it that has been scrubbed out over time by more of the Norse and biblical references. So I don't know what to expect. I'm like, they're calling back to like the stuff in Adventure that we kind of forgot about, like the oceans of different dimensions and the forgotten Digimon gods and shit like that. So it's cool.
Yeah. And the name homeostasis I wasn't expecting that, because that's only up until now been mentioned in like the adventure novels as being a thing that possessed her. And it's like, wow, I guess they
dug deep.
Yeah. So any other favorite moments that you didn't get to mention that stand out?
No, I mean, like all of it.
All of it.
I just there wasn't a scene in that movie that I didn't like. So
no least favorite parts.
Yeah, I know. I sound like such a shill, but like I'm tough to please, and nothing about this movie I didn't like. Yeah. Except the animation, I guess. That's it. It looks kind of cruddy, but that's Digimon. It looks kind of cruddy is the normal state of things.
Yeah, I guess I would just come to accept that over the course of Troy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had just watched that video about how this character designer normally is allowed to have characters who are much more fluid.
Oh yeah, the Canopy effect video.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I forget what his name is, but the Suritama character designer, like in Suritama the hair flows really naturally, and here it's just like Ty's hair just never moves. It just stays fixed all the time, even though he has this huge thing of hair.
Yeah. No, I like the designs a lot, but yeah, it's just a shame that the animation budget from Toei is always, or the, I guess, allocation from Toei is always whatever. Like Toei's stuff, just very. But the spirit of it is there at least.
Do you have any thoughts on shipping related to this movie? Any, I don't know, ships that you wished happened that they did or didn't do?
I normally just don't give a shit about shipping, but for some reason, Digimon, I guess because I grew up with it and they feel sort of like friends, I for some reason do. I don't know why. But they tease TK and Kari, and I'm all f***ing about that.
Yeah. So
I'm excited. I don't know if they're going to retcon the epilogue or not, but they kind of took it there a little bit because they teased, they're hardcore, not even teasing, but just deliberately implying Izzy and Mimi, and Tai and Mako, which I also like, and Sora and Matt, which I don't like, but whatever. And So I'm stoked. And then they tease TK and Kari, where she's like, "Hey, he's really grown up," and she's like eyeing him up, and it's like, okay. Oh, and Joe has a girlfriend, and we don't even know what she looks like, but we know she's real apparently.
Do we though? Do we?
I mean, I trust. At this point, I mean, I would have thought maybe he was lying in the first one, but by the third one, it's clear that she's a real person. So I'm excited to see that. Though I love Gomamon's.
Yeah.
Gomamon's like, I have one question. That's it. It's a great line. The character writing this is so true to character. But he's like, I have a question, and he's like, oh, do you want to know how long we've been dating? Do you want to know what she's like? And he's like, no, is she a real person? Like, is she a real human being? He's like, yes. Why does everybody doubt this? And it's like, it's you, Joe.
Yeah, that especially like hit me because even though the last movie focused on Joe and Mimi, like we didn't really get to see like Joe and Gomamon in their relationship that we're used to from Adventure, them like joking around with each other, and here we finally got that again. Like Joe is kind of in his habitat again. He's the silly character that we remember from Adventure in some ways still.
Yeah, movie 2 just spent a whole movie making you go, okay, Gomamon's gonna cheer him up now, right? Right? Like, Try has been all about trying to break you in half emotionally. I don't know why. It just is. But yeah, I'm glad that they're like happy now. Seeing Joe happy was the one nice thing about that movie. I theorized after watching it, I was like, so can Joe only be happy when everybody else is absolutely miserable? Because that seems to be what the movie is implying.
Remember when this movie was announced and people were like, how can there be any conflict between the end of 02 and the epilogue? There's nothing that happens. And no, I mean,
they reboot the world. That's fine.
Well, it's true. Maybe they just reboot everything. And
they just reboot.
But yeah, I'm hoping that means they just rewrote the epilogue and it's like, ha.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind either way. I think I worry that they're going to take it in a direction where, like, because of reboots, they somehow end up with a universe where the epilogue happens and a universe where it doesn't happen, and they can just like have their cake and eat it too, like to the extreme. Just be like, here's the one where you remember, and here's the one where all the ships you want happen. Because
choose, yeah.
Now it's just choose your own adventure game.
I guess now that we know the mechanics of the reboot, it doesn't seem as likely as when they first said the word reboot in the previews or whatever. I was like, oh no, not 2 timelines.
Yeah.
They're obviously lying about it's not a complete reboot of the world. There's something sinister. There's something foul going on. They did something else. We don't know.
Have you seen the? I think it was actually today or yesterday. The like higher quality version of the next movie poster. It's
I haven't. Was there anything? I saw the blurry version. I got the gist.
The one thing that's clear in the non-blurry version is it looks like there's let's see if I can find it. It looks like there's Tapirmon just like kind of randomly near the kids and
like near Ty or something.
Yeah, and supposedly like the lore, like like whatever the random BS Digimon lore for Tapirmon is that he's involved with memories somehow. So
well, yeah, he's a Baku. I think it's just called a Baku.
Yeah.
The Japanese monster that eats dreams. So maybe.
Yeah, so maybe he like gives the memories back. I don't know. I'm worried that it'll be such a simple solution.
He's the most powerful Digimon now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you the. There's not much to see from it aside from that. Oh, you can also see you can see the hand positioning more, and it's clear that Tai is holding Matt while Sora is reaching for Tai.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Oh, goodness. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I saw someone caption it with like Tai just being like mine.
Sora being like no.
I mean, it is weird how much they're targeting like adults with or teenagers at the very least, because like not just that, but like also Sora's grabbing the back of his shirt, and they could make that not fan servicey, but they made it fan servicey for some reason because of the way it's coming off of his back. It's like good lord.
Also, like the position of Sora is kind of like
and her Sora's boobs are weird. Yeah,
she's like in a weird sensuous position. She's
in a sensuous position. Matt is in a sensuous position. Tai is in it's weird. I mean, look, we're not gonna ever get any worse. That I say this, but we're not ever gonna get any worse than Mako literally looking at Tai's penis in the second movie. I couldn't believe that. I was like, what was that? Why would they have that joke? I don't. Oh God, my innocence.
We can still hope for a full-on Yuri on Ice butt scene. It's still possible.
Right.
So you've already said that you rated it, you gave it an A on ANN. How would you? I guess that might be obvious from the ratings, but how would you rank it now compared to chapters 1 and 2?
I mean, it's better than chapters 1 and 2. Chapter 2 was much better than the first one. Yeah. Chapter 2 is much better than the first one. This one was much better than 2. So, I mean, we can only hope the 4 is even better than this somehow. I'm not sure it's possible. If it ties it's fine. It ties it. I mean, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 because it does look cruddy, but that's normal. If it miraculously looked good, it would be 5.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any predictions for the remaining movies or for the next one?
For the next one, I think it's probably going to focus on the love triangle between Sora and Matt and Tai. It's going to address exactly what those feelings were and why, because 02 just kind of shrugged at it and said, oh, well, like, these guys had a thing, but now they don't. Like, it didn't really talk about the reasons, so I think they're probably going to talk about the reasons in the fourth one. It's going to be focused a little bit on Sora in some way, and I don't know if they're going to talk about the actual... I think they may hold off on talking about the actual plot twists that were dropped at the end of 3. But I think the Dark Master is going to come back, which makes sense. Even if it was, we know it's not a total reboot, but even if it was, it would make sense that the Dark Masters would come back because they were like fully evolved at the beginning of the world or whatever, according to lore. So it makes sense. But they kind of are what they are. But for a long tail prediction, I do kind of subscribe to the theory that what's her name? Himikawa, I think is her name.
Yeah.
I think Himikawa is, if not one of the original Digidestined, which is kind of vague anyway, an older generation of Digidestined that somehow got the shaft. I think she's part of some older generation that was forgotten, and I think that what she's doing is probably in some way understandable. I don't think she's like a bad guy. But obviously what she's doing is wrong, but I think she's just been very badly hurt, and the movie will address that in some way. I don't think Genai is actually evil. I think some force has possessed some part of him or stolen him or something. So that's my best guess.
So do you think Himikawa has been behind, like was behind all the reboot stuff? Because the way she says she says that it's the homeostasis. And that she's just like relaying the information.
She's clearly a liar.
Yeah. She is. Yeah. Homeostasis was really, really vague about what was going to happen. Yeah. Something is going to change if this monster comes back, and then it had to leave. And
really conveniently, just right before.
Really conveniently, Himikawa is like, "Well, I know how to fix this, and it must be talking about this." And then we see like the plan is on her computer. It's not a thing that the gods are doing. She did this. We don't know why. But I'm sure it has something to do with her own calling having gone wrong at some point in the past. So.
Interesting theory. Do you also think that Mekumon is fully evil or just a pawn in this?
No, of course not.
Okay, yeah. So I've seen some people saying that like they assume that she totally is, and I'm like, no, there's no way. Like,
there's no way. Yeah,
just a cute Digimon. It has to be good in the end.
Yeah, Mako still has to make it up to her in some way, So.
So in addition to predictions, do you have any hopes, things that you really wish will happen? I just
want the movies to continue to comment on, to continue to grow up with their characters and comment on childhood in a way that kind of suits the franchise, and yeah, for the characters to continue to get like awesome moments and be written as well as they have been. Oh, and I want to see Joe's girlfriend. What's Joe's girlfriend look like? So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm just excited for wherever it's gonna go.
I can see that now being at the last beat of the last movie.
I know, that's what I was going to say. I could see it being teased as the last beat of the last movie, and then them not actually like showing.
Like he's like, "This is my girlfriend," and like a train goes by.
If you want to find more of Jacob's work, you can read lots of great articles he's written and edited on Anime News Network. You can hear him as a co-host on Anime News Network's Ancast, and you can find him on Twitter at ANNJakeH.
Our next guest is Miranda Sanchez, editor at IGN.
It's like one of those shows that just encourage you to be better. It's like find yourself, and like I really identified with Mimi as a Digidestin. And when I was a kid, I wasn't really feminine, but as you all know, like Mimi's hyper feminine, and so that was really, I think, a really important thing for me, like an outlet to feel like being feminine is okay while still liking geeky things. And so like Digimon was just kind of that thing for me, and plus it was what everybody watched on the playground, and we would play Digimon, and we'd like run around and pretend being Digimon, except I was like, what if I be Pikachu? Because is that fine? They're like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, I love all the Digimon, but Pikachu. So it's just like an important thing from my childhood, and it's very dear to me. And before the movie started, I was actually going back and watching the original series and getting ready for it and getting very sentimental, so...
Did you find that it was like cool or acceptable to like Mimi back in the day when you were originally watching it?
I mean, she was a super brat, so I just connected with her really well. Like, I guess I didn't really care what everyone else thinks, but I was just like, yeah, Mimi's my girl. We're so alike, but we're not because I hate pink, but I love her. And so it's like this really weird thing that kind of, I guess, showed a little bit more of like how my interest in, so I like ended up hanging out with a lot of guys because like I was really into video games and kind of more at the time it was considered just like things for boys, but I just didn't know that many girls that were into it. And so like connecting with Mimi that way kind of helped me, like I said, just kind of find that femininity a little bit too.
Yeah, I think I've heard that a lot because like Digimon like kind of on the outside seems like a boyish franchise, you know, like it has the whole like marketing, like the main characters are boys and stuff, but then there are things in it that are much more feminine and like people are able to identify with.
Yeah, it's like absolutely just a universal story that I think is really easy to connect with.
Yeah. One trend that I think I've noticed is that like at the time people weren't like, it was like kind of characters like Mimi and Joe also were like uncool to like and like, but like over time, like now that we're adults and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's not, you can't be like chided for liking a character. It's like, oh yeah, we all liked Mimi and Joe all the whole time and we didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and just to like give you like fan DNA, so Digimon fans know what kind of Digimon fan you are, which seasons have you seen and which was your favorite?
So I didn't get past Digimon Adventure, so Adventure and Adventure 2. And then after that, I kind of moved on, I guess, because I was getting older. So I never got to go back, but I really want to go back to some of the newer. I know Tamers and Frontier are pretty good, so I really want to go back and watch those sometime soon.
Yeah, did you have a favorite out of Adventure and 02?
Of course, Adventure. I mean, it's the main crew. They're my group. I love them.
Plus, the 02 is just not as good.
Yeah.
Generally.
What is the 02 thing you're talking about? Like, I've completely forgot about them. Just like everyone in the Tri movies.
Tri is just like, whatever. They don't exist.
Okay, so now that's kind of a segue. So let's move into Tri Chapter 3 Confession. So what's your like overall impression of Tri Chapter 3? What I wrote down here is like, if you had to summarize it in one word, what would the word be? But if you can't find one word, then it's totally fine to just
you can use
give your
3
overall
words.
impression.
I think we were allowed to use 3.
3, 4, 5, more than 5, whatever number.
Okay, I thought about this for a long time because you sent me the questions ahead of time, and I came up with, I think the best word is just bittersweet. So I really like this one. I finally think that the movies have definitely gotten better as they've gone on. Like, they've kind of found their pace, and they found like what they want to accomplish. And this one was, of course, the sad one. Like, you have to have the turning point. We're halfway through the movie, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought. I guess I knew this one was going to try to be sad because of the like previews it had Patamon like flying off and saying goodbye. But like, I kind of assumed that the second movie was a sad one because it had like, you know, like Joe and Mimi in the rain being sad, and I was like, okay, that's as sad as the series is gonna get. Like, okay, oh no, I have to be an adult. Oh, pity you. But like, yeah, they actually.
I have news for you. They're all sad.
Yeah.
Being an adult is sad, so they're all sad.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know how. I guess the next movie, if it's titled Lost, probably is going to be sad too.
Like, does it get worse? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what? I mean, like, I get pretty sentimental, and I was like, I was tearing up pretty hardcore at the end of 3. Like, I was just like, okay, gotta hold back. It's fine. They're gonna be fine.
So, do you have any favorite parts?
Absolutely. So after Patamon was infected, and they have their little group Digimon meeting, and they're talking about like what it means to be infected and the possibility of rebooting the Digimon world and like everything else, and them losing their memories was kind of my favorite part, because then after that they go to their Digidestin and they kind of go hang out and they have like a good old time doing the things they love with them, and it was just like really touching. And we've seen them kind of be personal with each other, but like that's as much as we have so far, and I just really like that kind of connection that they have, and that's something that they showcased really well, I think, in the original series. And it's nice to see more of that again.
Yeah, seeing the way like the different Digimon respond to the news differently and like either tell their partner or don't, or like ask them to do things with like Gabumon asking Yamato or Matt to like just play the harmonica, and like he won't tell him why. He's just like, come on, play it. And Yamato's like, no, I won't do it. Fine, I'll do it.
Such a Yamato response.
Yeah, and like the way they all reacted to stuff too is really funny with like Kari and Gatomon, like and how she's just like, so we can't do this? And he's like, oh yeah, we can do it.
I saw someone point out that like Gatomon had the smartest, like most adult and like worldly view on that, because what she did with Kari was get her to take pictures with them together. So she left memories behind for Kari. And like no one else left memories behind for them. And I'm like, oh, that's touching.
I mean, like, of all the Digimon, she also feels the most adult.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
She's technically the adult Digimon.
Yeah.
Well, Meikomon is too, but that didn't go so well.
Nikomon is a made-up Digimon
It's true.
for this movie, so we don't care.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how you felt about Mimi and Palmon's interactions.
I was very disappointed.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was so brief. Like, they got ripped off. I mean, I guess it's because also they got a little love in the last movie. They got a lot of time. And this one I guess it's okay that they backed off from them a little bit. But the whole, like, their bonding was them gossiping and then Palmon making a joke. And I was like, okay. You deserve better.
Yeah, but like even in the last movie when Mimi got a lot of attention, I feel like Palmon has barely gotten any spotlight.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know much about Palmon at all, really.
Yeah, it kind of stinks that we don't know what their bond is exactly aside from the gossiping. I thought that they would be the ones to go out shopping or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see Kari as a shopper, really.
Yeah.
That's why she seems so thrown off by Gatomon being like, let's do these things. And then she's like, why? And she's like, can we not do these things? And Kari's like, no, we physically can. I just don't.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I generally was like really, I almost said proud, but I guess I shouldn't be proud of a movie. I was pleasantly surprised by how much this movie like juggled everyone. I don't know if you've seen the what's it called? Revenge of Diaboromon, the movie that's made after, the one that's like 02, and it has all of the Adventure Kids and the 02 kids, and it like tries to give a spotlight to everyone, and it's just like, oh gee, like everyone gets like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's like too many kids. It's okay.
So like I guess this movie doesn't have the 02 kids in it, but like it juggled all of the Adventure Kids, I thought, really well, except for Mimi and that moment where it's like everyone gets this really good moment, and Mimi Palmon just like zones out while listening to Mimi. I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing. But
yeah, it's like, oh, okay. So you're saying she's annoying? I see.
Yeah, like Joe and Gomamon still got to have the funniest moments almost because even though they were featured in the last movie.
I almost forgot about that, but then how could I forget about that?
How could you forget?
Joe really needed that though. Like he's not been so great in the past 2 movies. So
yeah.
Him having a good personality finally is much needed.
Any more favorite parts?
I think those are my biggest things. I mean, the fight scenes are of course fun just because it's nice to see them battling, but also sad. So
Yeah, I really like how they juggled the fight scenes. In the past, I've always been like, yeah, it's animated well, but like, okay, there's nothing really like going on here, like emotionally or anything. But like here, it's like the fight scene is exciting animation-wise, but also emotional and.
Yeah, I think there's more impact for it than just being a fight.
Yeah. Do you have any least favorite parts?
Yes. So it's just kind of like a reoccurring thing for me in all of these movies is the music. Oh gosh. So I'm not talking about the intro or the outro. Like those are different things. But like the music like that they play during fight scenes or during certain transformations, evolutions. It's just
it's like, what are you doing? Like,
it
why?
kills the mood so bad. Like I know there's a part at the end where they're trying to be emotional. The music was just really bad. It's just not composed well, and it really sounds like free stock music. So not even like a paid for subscription stock service, but like a free one where you're getting like not great quality. And like some of the music goes pretty well, but like there's a lot of times when they'll like replay songs where it just doesn't fit, and it really doesn't help at all. And I'm like, this could be so much better if you had your sound designed a little bit better. Like you could do it come on. So I just hope the next one's better with that.
Yeah, like my major complaints in the other movies were like they were timed really awkwardly. So like there'd just be like the music would cut out and there'd be no music during like a big emotional peak, and you'd be like, okay, but why? And like it just felt like it wasn't like directed or timed well. But like at least I feel like this movie didn't have that problem, but it had like I think the moment that really stood out to me was when I think it's Tentomon digivolves to Kabuterimon.
Yes,
I think
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
And it just there's like I guess I can't remember music is before that, but then it just plays this one tune that's like
plays the like scary,
like ominous one. Yeah. And it's like what? But he's just going to join the fight. Like what? How is it ominous? Like what?
Yeah, it's like maybe play that after he's done evolving. Like he needs to digivolve first.
Yeah, like every other Digivolution sequence has the Braveheart song, which is all like, pumping up, like, yeah, they're going to jump, yeah, this is awesome. Like, I mean, depends how much you like the song, but like, it's definitely a like energetic song. And this was just like ominous. And like, no, that's not the right. But yeah, and even like listening to most of the songs, they're all just like, yeah, they sound like very generic.
They just, don't have a lot of heart to them or depth to them. But I don't know, like I did a lot of music study and lessons and stuff throughout school, so it's something that definitely stands out to me. So like when I watch films, it's like that's like really off. I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just especially off for Digimon Adventure Tri. But otherwise, music aside, which like I said was terrible sometimes, but not always. Mekumon stuff is kind of weird. Not digging her too much. Like I wish. So we're halfway through, and I don't expect to have all the answers for why she's bad, but I've expected to get more information this movie since like 2 was like, oh, Megumon's bad, okay, May sad, and then we just don't really get an answer. It's just like, oh, she's just bad, just can't let her around. It's like, what? Okay. So I'm just like, I think that's just like my big thing about this is like, I just wish we had more answers. I understand that we have more time, and I don't quite understand why the reboot was the only option when it looked like Izzy was trying to come up with another thing. They're like, oh, just gonna reboot everything. It's like, oh okay, that's fine, I guess. Also, I totally forgot about like young Genai, and I had to look that up. I was like, who's that guy at the end? I was like, what? It's like the Digimon Emperor.
Genai used to be a hottie. How could you forget?
Oh, yeah. I was like, I just remember the old man Genai. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, what the hell? Okay. I'm also just super confused. Obviously, it's like evil young Genai because he's smirking when they're, doing bad stuff.
Well, see, I don't know if like, I mean, I definitely think there are, like coding him as being evil and they want you to think he's evil, but like, I don't think he's actually done anything actually evil yet. Like
he just held Mekumon in the other place. That's all he did.
But he didn't even know. Yeah, he stole Mekumon temporarily and then put her back. And I'm like, okay, that's not that.
Well, she got infected then, so that's pretty bad.
But she was infected the whole time.
Yeah, I think they were implying that like Mekumon was always the infection.
Yeah, but he unleashed that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess.
There's so much that I'm like, you could go. I feel like in the next movie you could they could explain, oh yeah, he actually unlocked the infection, or they could explain, oh no, he was trying to capture her and like prevent the infection. I feel like they could explain either way, and I'd be like, okay, well that makes sense. So at this point, I'm just like, oh, I don't know. People are running wild with theories. My problem with like theorizing is that some people are like speculating all this stuff that goes like really deep in the lore and like these things that are like mentioned once offhand in the original series, and like maybe it's that thing. And I'm like, but you're just getting your hopes up so high, and then it's not going to be that good. It's not going to be that surprising. Like,
but then sometimes it happens. This is the cool thing. But I guess I'm also just kind of willing to let them just tell the story. Like, I'll just sit back and let them do it. It's fine. It's also just, like, weird that he was disguised as Ken. Like, I wonder what's up with that.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did you do that? Why are you giving him a bad name? What are you doing?
Pessimistically, I'm just like, it might just be that there's no in-world explanation. They just wanted to do it so they could get people to watch the second movie and the third movie, like, just intrigue the audience.
Just to say that he was there. It's like, Ken made appearance. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope not.
Oh, one thing I did like, but also was sad about, was May. Okay, so I hate May and Mekumon. Like, I hate that their names are both May. It's like May.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
No one asks about this. No one is like
nobody
confused.
In universe it is like, that's weird, you guys. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, don't do that. But I just feel so bad for her. She's like, oh, sorry. I liked her backstory. I like that we got that little bit finally. So we get to know more about her and how they met. And then I also just, I guess this is for the next question, so I won't.
Well, we can move into that. So, do you have any thoughts on Digimon ships? Shipping. Ooh.
Shipping's the best part.
Well, I'm totally down with Izzy being into Mimi. I think that's really cute. And like how he just gets very nervous and wants to make his clothes nicer, which I'm like, yeah, boys learn. When you want to impress a girl, get a new wardrobe. Yeah, it's just, that's a good idea. Look nice. As far as everyone else, I think it's like kind of funny how they keep teasing Sora about both boys with Matt and Ty. They're like, who are you going to choose? Who are you going to choose? I'm like, but what if Matt and Ty choose each other? Yes. I'm definitely on board with that. With everybody else. Because it's kind of like, Sora has no place here. It's fine. Like, she could be the friend, but romantically, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie was like kind of the least shippy of the three movies.
Yeah, I think it's aside from like, because everyone was very independent. If you look, like, take a step back and look at it, like everyone was doing their own thing with their Digimon or sometimes fighting. But it felt like this one was a lot more about the Digimon as opposed to the Digidestined.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you get little things with, like, Takeru and Hikari in the very beginning. They have their scene when they're knocking on Ken's door.
Yeah, when she's like, oh, you're so grown up now. Yeah. I was like, okay, if you say, because he, like, asked, like, to, like, call, like, he was like, I guess we should check in with the next person. Like, what? That's what makes him grown up? Like,
Listen, like, Hikari's weird, okay? She's weird.
I feel like that scene was in there to, like, because, like, in the first 10 minutes, they didn't really center on Takeru TK at all. And they, like, I feel like the line was just there to be like, reminder, he and Koushirou or Izzy are the focus of this movie. Like, that was my theory.
Yeah, maybe.
I also liked when Mimi, there was no dialogue in it, but when Mimi came to Koshirou's office and it was a mess and she, like, tried to deliver him, like, groceries or something. And then she just walked away. I was like, this scene is weird, but I guess that's shipping.
Yeah, she's the one going to take care of him, so yeah. I could have been anyone else. I think TK and Kari, though, I'm always down with that. So cute. Destined.
Have you seen the poster for the next movie?
Actually, no. I only saw the old one.
Are you okay with being spoiled about it? Like, if we show it to you, is that okay, or do you want to keep pure?
Fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna get tweeted and stuff anyway. Yeah. Like, it's not.
That's the thing. Like, for the first movie, we tried to be like, okay, this preview for the second, the poster for the second movie is a spoiler, so we won't talk about it. But then, like, once we put out the episode, like, everyone talks about it because it's just all over social media. Digimon Try Chapter 4 poster. It's really, we don't have like a high quality version. We just have like in Japanese theaters, they show it at the end of the movie, and people have taken pictures of that, like, with their cell phone. That's the only thing we have.
Yeah, so it's really hard to even like.
Yeah, this one in particular is like really hard to.
Okay.
Here.
I kind of wish I would have been there, or I was in Japan recently for Tokyo Game Show, and I think I just barely missed a Digimon movie, or it was airing. I can't remember, but I didn't have the chance to check. It was very sad.
we saw we were there for the first movie, and I don't know how good your Japanese is, but like, I was studying Japanese at the time. I was like, yeah, I've already seen this once in English. Like, I totally understand it. And I was like, no.
We were both just staring at it, being like, I guess it's pretty. We sort of remembered the gist of what's going on in each scene.
Oh. Yeah, like, I have enough to kind of understand certain things, so I'd be, like, happy with, going anyway, just for the experience. But I obviously wouldn't get all of it, but I'm definitely not fluent. But, okay, so I have the poster.
So it's really hard to tell in this picture, but, like, what everyone is, I think the consensus from everyone is that, like, there's Sora kind of in the, like, top middle, and then to her left is Matt, and then to her right is Ty.
Yeah, I totally see that.
So I guess the love triangle will be prominent.
Now we know who the next one's going to focus on. So that's cool.
Maybe Sora will just be, maybe the loss is Sora, and then Ty and Matt will have each other.
Is Hikari just going to get her own movie? Like, what's...
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
I mean, I actually saw some speculation before this poster came out. People were worried that Sora wouldn't actually get her own focus or like her own ultimate evolution because things have been reset, and she was the only one. Like if you count out TK and Kari because they're like special or whatever,
Right.
like if you count those out, then she's the only one that hasn't gotten an evolution. It's like, well, things have been reset, so how can that be possible now? So I guess she just didn't get one, and that was like, you cut out Sora again completely, like, ugh. But now I really don't know. I don't know. I guess this is better. She hasn't been cut out, but also like, how can they get to the final? How can they get to Mega having just been reset?
If you believe.
Believe in the heart of the cards.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
If you steal Hikari's light power and then...
Yeah. So how would you rate Chapter 3, like out of 5 stars?
I give it like a 3.5, like a 3.8. Like it's getting a 4, but it's not quite there.
And how would you rank it compared to is it better than the first 2 movies, somewhere in between?
I think 2 is my favorite, and then just barely though, because I just like how like fun it is. And then 3, then 1. Pretty much anyone's gonna be better than 1. So
Yeah. I think we should all agree that 1 deserves to stay in last place.
Yeah.
Probably forever.
Hopefully all the movies are better than that.
yeah, and I mean 2 also just wins because it's about Mimi. So
Yeah, I mean, briefly, because we didn't do like a special guest episodes for Chapter 2, do you have like favorite things from Chapter 2 aside from Mimi?
Mimi. No, I did like all like the bonding scenes that they had together and like the reverse onsen trope.
Yeah.
That was really silly. So I just like enjoyed all of that and them having fun together, and it was nice to just like let them have a moment, which I mean you kind of have to. You can't all be sad, right?
Yeah. It's a little frustrating that moment lasted 6 months or like between the movies. It's been so long. So do you have any predictions for the other half of the last 3 movies?
Well, I think the next one will be about Sora.
Whoa, prophetic.
Yeah. No, I think we'll probably see the one after the next one be about like maybe one more Digidestin and the final one to kind of wrap it up all together and like them be all together again. I definitely think that the Digimon will get their memories back. I think it'd be too sad if they let them just have a fresh start. And I don't think Ken is actually going to be in this.
The 0-2 kids are never going to be found. They're just gonna...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like not too sure they're going to go with it just because it is so empty. I think we're going to find out like what Megamon is and like why it's inherently just bad. Like that doesn't make sense to me, but it'll be interesting to see why it's a bad Digimon.
I feel kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just my own personal theory, but I feel like they can't have it just be like Megamon is just evil incarnate or like is the virus. I feel like what they're aiming towards is like Megamon was the first infection 15 years ago or whatever, and that like they'll explain that like how she got infected back then. But like everything they've said so far has been like, but she's the source of it, and I'm like, okay, but like but she's still like, I'm sure she's
still Digimon.
Yeah, and like they're not gonna say she's just evil and like bad.
I mean, like, she has a Digidestin. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and so it's just weird. It's also weird when we saw her meet May. Like, she just was mean, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm fine. It's great. So definitely got to figure out more about that.
I mean, when she met her, it was like a stray cat with like rabies. You need to get cats checked out for diseases when you adopt them.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Do you have any not things that you like are pretty sure are gonna happen, but just things you wish happened?
I hope we get some more romance, like confirmed, like canon romance.
Hope like somebody kisses another person.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
Whoa.
This is an adult show, but kissing, no kissing.
maybe like holding hands or like accidentally touching your hands and like getting really shy, and then that's it.
Did you appreciate in this movie Ty and Matt's blush when Ty and Matt are talking about like whether they need to meet each other?
Yeah.
That blush was like I looked at it afterwards and like it's like 3 little lines, and yet I was like, oh my god, the blush. It's like the smallest thing.
Very important 3 lines.
Yes,
okay.
That scene was great.
Yeah, we need some more blushing, some little hand holding maybe. Like they hold hands, like if they all like end up holding hands for some reason, and Matt and Ty hold hands first, and then everybody else joins in. Like that's a sign. That would be totally a sign.
So I hope you're listening, producers of Try. Just just get some, people holding hands and blushing because they're holding hands, and
Yeah. I feel like they're making up this movie stuff as they go along, so I really hope that they just like take fan feedback and then like
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that.
yeah, I mean, I think with the amount of time between each movie that like that's vaguely possible. Maybe not between like 1 and 2, or between immediate consecutive movies, but like
Right.
between 1 and 3 probably. And also like how much improved after 1, I have to assume they're like figuring stuff out as they go.
Fun.
So any last things you wanted to bring up or wish you got into, which you didn't ask?
No, I think that's about it.
Cool.
Super excited to watch more, and I hope Palmon gets her time to shine.
If you want to find more of Miranda's work, you can find her writing about anime and video games on IGN. You can hear her as a co-host on the IGN Anime Club podcast, and you can find her on Twitter at HavocRose.
Our next guest is Miles Thomas, brand manager and data/social guy at a neat little anime site known as Crunchyroll.
Digimon is the one most significant event that got me to where I am now in terms of my media consumption. Because like Dragon Ball was a bigger deal for me. But Dragon Ball is something that you can watch Dragon Ball and not necessarily be an anime fan. In fact, I think most people who do watch Dragon Ball Z, or whatever you want to call that franchise, are not anime fans first and foremost. Digimon was the first long form show that I got obsessed with. It wasn't some syndicated nonsense where Hanna-Barbera, the plot was 11 minutes long and there was no continuity. It was the first thing that I was just making sure every day or every week I was watching the new episode of, and had an emotional connection to the characters. So Digimon put me on my path more than any one other individual element, I think.
And so which seasons have you seen, and which was your favorite? Just to give your DNA as a Digimon fan to listeners.
So have I watched all the major Digimon? I think so. I watched Adventure 2, Tamer's Frontier, and a little bit of Savers as a kid. And then I watched Cross Wars in college, which I could not stand Cross Wars at first. But by the second half of it, I was so into that, I forgot it was a kid show. Yeah, I loved Cross Wars. But my favorite is probably Tamers. Something about it just really resonated with me. Even, I was actually a kid at the time, but I still was able to appreciate some of its darker themes. And it stood up on rewatch really well, even if the dub didn't.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people didn't really appreciate Tamers at the time when they were kids, and then they go back and rewatch them all, and they're like, wow, that was the one that stood out on rewatch. But
yeah, I've heard as much.
So now jumping into the reason that we're all here to talk about Try Chapter 3, Confession. If you had to summarize your reaction to the movie in one word, what would it be?
In one word?
If that's too difficult, you can do more than one word.
You can use 3 words.
Oh, 3. There it is. Eureka, there it is. There's 1 word and 3 words.
Done.
I cannot overstate my happiness with part 3. Part 1, I rewatched it in theaters recently, in dubbed, and
I think we watched you in that.
Yeah.
If it isn't clear by now, Miles is one of the people on screen at the dub showing, so you might recognize his voice from that.
That was my first theatrical appearance.
Oh, nice. I wasn't sure if that was a normal thing that you've done because there have been other anime showings, but I didn't know if there were any that Crunchyroll was involved in like that.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that we've both done a theatrical showing and cared enough to do something like that. So good cross-section. If you're doing a one-off showing in Japantown, you're not going to necessarily want to produce an entire 5-minute video.
Yeah.
You'll just have someone physically go up there and introduce the movie or say something at the end. But if we're going to be in 400 theaters, it makes sense to have a little, hey, we love Digimon too.
Yeah. So I think I interrupted you. Your thoughts on Chapter 1 when you saw it dubbed?
I watched it dubbed. I had a really positive reaction to it. I cried the whole time. And I do, in hindsight, recognize that that's mostly nostalgia. Just seeing the characters on the screen again was honestly enough for me. And part 2 was a little more substantive and a little more valuable, but still, it wasn't old Digimon, and it wasn't quite something new that I cared about either. I did like episode 2 of Try. I just didn't love it like I loved so many other parts of the Digimon franchise. But then this part 3, oh my god, that just the animation was finally not distracting. The artwork continues to be gorgeous. The drama was no longer this weird, I don't want to say forced melodrama, but it felt like there was a lot more behind the character interactions. And I mean, I guess they've been building up to it. And if this were like a syndicated TV show, or I mean, not a syndicated TV show, if this were being aired 1 week at a time, I wouldn't have had any trouble sticking through it. It's just because you end up watching them in 5-episode blocks. You kind of see a lot more faults than you would if it was on the high 23 minutes a week. But this, I was on the high for a full 5 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
I cannot overstate how much I liked it, and Izzy's my favorite character, so I mean, that probably has something to do with it.
A little bit of bias, since you got in focus.
Yeah, this is what I wanted Digimon Try to be from the beginning, and I didn't even know it until I saw this.
I think it's a recurring theme. I like just getting on tape people's like expressions, just reaction, and like, oh, I did not expect this. This was... so do you have any like favorite parts that really stood out to you that, linger in your mind still?
The part where Tentomon is saying, like, kind of resignated that everything's going to be reset, and then goes into his mega evolution, that whole sequence. I mean, of course, that's my favorite part. Just the connection between him and Izzy. And also, I was fighting back tears when TK was holding Patamon, and Patamon bit him, and TK just wouldn't let him go and wouldn't let anyone see that Patamon was infected. That was really moving to me.
I feel like we prepared these questions mostly for chapter 1 and like have adapted them for this movie, and like some of them don't really fit anymore. But because a lot of people have asked if they've had least favorite parts, they're like, not really.
It's all just so good.
Yeah, I mean, did you have anything that stood out to you that you really didn't like or wish was improved for the next movies or anything like that?
I wish they could be a little more subtle about the whole Maki thing. They haven't been since episode 1, but this episode actually demonstrated subtlety in other places, so I wouldn't think it's inappropriate for them to, lay off on, ooh, there's something really sketchy going on here.
Yeah, the vibe I got from the first 2 movies was like, I don't know, because I guess like the production was so, like it just seemed sloppy around corners in the first 2 movies that like when Maki has her sinister smile in the second movie, I was like, was that intentional? Or was that an accident? Like, I don't know. But now it's like, okay, everything's like pretty clear about that. Like we know exactly what we're going for. I'm hoping in the end it's not like, it ends up being a little bit subtle, because I assume she's not actually like evil, capital E, just like has a different goal in mind and is manipulative, and they can all come to agree in the end. And then looking back, maybe we'll be like, oh, okay, well, she was manipulative, but like, it wasn't like Myotismon's sinister plan, destroying the world kind of stuff.
Oh, there's one part I also didn't like. It wasn't really Ken.
You wanted it to actually be Ken?
I wanted it to actually be Ken. I was so excited, and it wasn't Ken. I mean, all the part 2 folks like died or something at the beginning of the first episode or something, that they're not in good shape. And the idea of Ken being involved with that really was exciting to me.
Yeah, I'm at least happy we got some bit of closure on that, because like I think it was first revealed in like a TV ad for the second movie, so before the second movie even premiered, and it was like, Ken's gonna be in this, and I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be so much, I can't wait to see the revelation of how Ken is in this in the second movie. And the second movie was like, no, we're not gonna explain that, he's just here. And then this whole movie until the end, like still not gonna answer that question. I'm like, oh, okay, at least they've answered something, but because that's been like half a year since that first tease of Ken being in it. And
all I remember is there was speculation that it was Ty because his hair looked weird.
Yeah, because the new
like
character designs, like everyone's hair looks like Ken's hair looks like Ty because the hair kind of looks a little bit more similar than it used to.
Yeah.
And then there was like, maybe it's Sam was like a thing for a hot second.
But the Ty thing, like people were so intrigued with that because they were like, how can we go from the first movie to in the second movie, Ty being the Digimon Emperor? Like, oh my god, I'm so excited to see how that happens. And it's like, no.
Because no.
You should fan and meet some more Occam's razor.
That would have, I mean, to be honest, that would have been a interesting way to do it, but I don't think they could have pulled it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hope the Ken stuff, like I hope Ken actually makes a real appearance in the second half of the series.
He has to now. They've teased him too much. It would not be appropriate for them to deprive us of this wonderful character. I liked Adventure 2 a lot more than most people, I think, but I liked seeing both casts. That was the appeal, was just the crossover factor for me.
Yeah, I kept hoping that like the approach with Try, they can like spend a year hyping up the original cast, and then in the second half of the movie series start to like integrate the Zero Two kids in a little bit and hype them in, because when it started, it was like the 15th anniversary. When they announced the series, it's 15th anniversary for Adventure, and now it's been like, I mean, I was thinking maybe after a year it would be 15th anniversary for Zero Two, but now it's also been, I think it's been 17 years at this point for Adventure and 16 for Zero Two. So, yeah.
Honestly, they can take their time making these episodes. This set of episodes took an extra 3 months than the first two.
Yeah.
There's an especially long gap, but if that gives us this really nice animation quality, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's true. This was the longest wait, but it was definitely worth it. I'm a little bit worried about the reaction because everyone who was like committed to Digimon, committed to Try, has come back to this. But I'm kind of worried because after the second movie, it seems like people kind of dropped off, just from my sense. And I'm hoping people are getting back in because of this reception of this movie. But yeah.
I mean, honestly, so full disclosure for anyone listening, I work at Crunchyroll and I'm Digimon brand manager. So it's my job to promote Digimon, I guess. But I would do it anyway. And our big Digimon push is going to be next month once it's available for free users. And part of that is also because for whatever reason, they decided to air Digimon at the same time that we were starting to launch 70 new shows. So
yeah.
The timing was not great for promoting Digimon. It's hard to get resources for anything when there are 70 other things pumping out. Geez.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest season lineup you've had ever at Crunchyroll, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I imagine, I was speculating that, like, okay, you know, kind of the merging, not merging, but, you know, like getting shows going instead of being split up between Crunchyroll and Funimation means there probably a lot more shows on Crunchyroll and probably not any more brand managers to deal with all those shows. So kind of worried for you guys.
We got a little help. Help. We just added 2 new brand managers actually. So nice. Could be a lot worse.
So I don't think the topic of shipping has come up at all. Do you have any thoughts on Digimon ships, and especially in regards to this movie or the other Try movies?
Full disclosure, Sora was my first, I guess what you could call a waifu. The first like fictional character I had that kind of emotional reaction to, I guess you could say. And so since I was like 10 or 11 years old, I've always just had a very negative reaction to Sora with anyone else. But I support Izzy and Mimi. Very supportive of Izzy.
How do you feel about Kari and TK?
Oh, man. This episode didn't give us anything, did it?
Oh, in the very beginning.
See, I would agree with you. I'd be like, oh, it didn't really give us much of anything. But we've talked to people who are like, oh my god, this episode totally delivered on TK and Kari because there's one line. It's a single line in the very beginning when I think it's like TK and Kari have just like knocked on Ken's door and they're walking away, and Kari just has like a single line that's like, oh, TK's really growing up, isn't he? And they're like, oh man, that's totally 100% canon.
Legit, yo.
And that was in the movie, that was in the teaser, the 9-minute teaser at the end of the theatrical release of part 1. Yeah. I got really excited when they did in the theater, and then when I saw it again on Crunchyroll, I'm like, oh, I already saw this. I didn't get as excited. I guess I should have both times. Matt and Ty, that ship is still going pretty strong.
Yeah. The blush in particular was...
That was a pretty significant blush.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Sorato versus Tayora? Sora with Ty or Matt?
I think she should do whatever she wants to do.
Are you excited for the next movie?
Both? She should be with both, right?
Yeah.
Polyamory.
That's basically been the last 10 years of Digimon, right?
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. You know, it's still possible we get like a split timeline, and one of them she's with Ty, one of them she's with Matt.
Perfectly fine then.
Okay, so just like wrapping up, getting final thoughts on Try Chapter 3. If you had to rate it out of 5 stars, how would you would you rate it?
Man, the grading scale is not necessarily like in a vacuum, right? Like I'm comparing it to either other Digimon things or other anime or other media in general. Like if I'm comparing it to The Godfather, I don't want to give it 5 stars, but if I'm comparing it to other Digimon, I'm like, yeah, this is among the better Digimon experiences I've ever had. This is up there with the movie, but probably not as good as the movie. Let's do that. The best Digimon experience outside of the US movie. I really like that movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Hosoda's first 3 films were his best he's ever made.
Oh, that's a hot take there.
Whoa. Controversial opinions right here.
I know some wolves who would disagree with that.
No, One Piece 6 was way better than Wolves.
Oh, I need to watch that. I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to watch that as part of like watching all the One Piece movies eventually, once I watch through the series, and that's a huge task. I'm 2 episodes in. I'm almost there. So how would you rank this movie compared? I think it's pretty clear from everything you said before, but just put it in stone. How would you rank this movie compared to the other 2 Try movies, or how would you rank all 3 of them?
It blows the other 2 out of the water. The first one was a 5 for nostalgia and that nothing else matters for actual quality. 2 was fine. But fine's not the greatest rating in the world, and this was exceptional. One of the better Digimon experiences I've had.
Do you have any predictions for the remaining 3 movies?
I'm normally very intent or good about predicting. For whatever reason with Digimon, I guess it's my reverting back to my childhood self watching the original series. I just want to be along for the ride. I think Maki is sketchy. I don't think Mekomon is evil. Alphamon, I don't know. And I don't want to spend time trying to figure it out because then I'll be upset.
Do you have any, not things that you are sure are going to happen, but things that you want to happen?
I think you kind of touched on it before, which is just having the part 2 kids play any role. I really, really want part 2 kids. Yeah, that's what I want.
Is Ken your favorite of them?
No, but Ken's kind of I love the whiny little asshole characters so much. They're just so much fun to have as part of the crew, and they're so frustrating. And Ken's got this ego thing going on that I love. I love it. I don't know.
Well, who would be your favorite among them if it's not Ken?
Probably Davis. I like Davis more than Kai, which is the worst thing you can ever say. But Davis is the dumbest main character I think in the entire franchise. And I really like that.
Well, as long as you're owning up to the thing that everybody else dislikes is the thing that you like, that's fair. Yeah.
Also Kari is the most fun character in part 2. That's really where she hits her stride. And I wish we saw more of part 2 Kari in Try. So maybe that's what I want to see more of too.
Yeah, it does feel like TK and Kari are still getting a bit of the shaft. TK got to star in this one, but I'm like, where are you, Kari? Why are you not on the next poster? Why does Sora get her own movie? What's happening?
Sora needs her own movie, but I guess chapter 5, maybe, probably, Kari?
Kari has to go last, and that's kind of having her be the 8th, has always just bothered me. Because she's so much more significant to that in terms of the emotional, who is the emotional core of Digimon in general, Digimon Adventure. And Kari is pretty close to that person, being that person, just because of her web of relationships with her brother, with TK. I just think that she's really important, and she's not playing an important role in terms of the way that all the characters are interacting now. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of a leader Kari like we saw in part 2.
There's a weird parallel between Kari and Mako, which hasn't really been explored yet, which I'm thinking might be explored later on. Which, Mekumon and Gatomon are both cat, Digimon that are in their champion form instead of their rookie form, and they both have gone through, Gatomon hasn't been corrupted like that in the past, but have had an evil side and then been redeemed, and I'm kind of hoping that chapter 5 will be the poster for chapter 5, whatever, will be Kari and Mako, and they'll get some, because Mako's also the focus of the movie series, which, how do you feel about that, Mako being the focus of the Try in general?
Totally fine. I like her as a character. I think she does a good job of playing in with the rest of the cast. And they don't really spend enough time making her feel like the new girl, because the other girls in Digimon are just so, the other Lady Digidestin are so welcoming and warm and familiar. So they did a really good job making her feel organically like part of the group, but still like, she doesn't even feel as much of an outsider as Kari does to me. And I think they're doing a good job in that regard.
Keep hoping there's some explanation for the 02 kids, because like the idea of them accepting Mako so much more than they've accepted the 02 kids. If the 02 kids are just there and just they think they're there, well, who knows? We'll eventually find that out, hopefully.
I mean, the fact that no one's talked about the 02 kids is also really bothering me. Yeah. Like, hey, aren't there these other Digidestin we could call on to help us with these problems?
No, let's reset the world first before consulting them. Because them losing all their memories, their Digimon losing all their memories doesn't affect them. They don't even need to be brought up.
Yeah, that part still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's some, like, memory manipulation that explains it in the end, but...
Someone backed up the 02 kids on the solid-state drive.
Yeah, and then they plug the 02 thumb drive in, and they all remember them, and then, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
It's actually just a box set, a DVD box set of Adventure 02 they used. If you want to hear more of Miles' thoughts, you can find his professional quality sword art online, Asuna figure reviews, and ravings about Glasslip and other anime no one else remembers, aka the Miles Gap, at MilesExpress999 on Twitter. And if you want to hear him frequently teased behind his back by his coworkers, you should listen to Crunchyroll's podcast, Crunchycast.
Our next guest is Rayana, the awesome artist who drew our Takeru and Koushirou artwork for Try Chapter 3.
I mean, this series focuses a lot on the challenges that growing up represents, and it's all about growth, evolution, so to speak. This is obvious when you look at the Digimon, but for me, the Digimon, I like the Digimon, but the first generations had these punkish designs I like, alright, but the monsters are not the only parts are not the appeal of the series for me. Sometimes I feel they only exist to mirror the growth of the human partners, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I like the Digimon. I like the designs, but I've never been here for the monsters. It's Taichi, it's Yamato, it's Sora, it's the human characters in general. The social interaction of the group is extremely entertaining, in my opinion. Sometimes the struggles they go through, I don't know, it's just, Digimon has been there my whole life. I was 12 when I was introduced to the first episode here in Portugal, and that's it. I think what makes me stick to Digimon even at such an age, and I'm almost 30 years old for the record, somehow the themes of the animations still resonate with me. So there's that.
Cool. So which seasons have you seen, and which was your favorite of them? I think I have a guess, but
I've watched them all, of course. All of them. Adventure is my obvious choice, obviously. It's my favorite, of course. But I like Savers. I like Cross Wars too. It was a nice experience. None of them are perfect, but as long as they are entertaining, I don't complain a lot. I'm not picky. But the character interaction, as I said previously, I like how the characters interact with each other. I like how they're such different characters from each other. Taichi is not the kind of character who would be around someone like Joe. I think in the novels he says something like, not the kind of person I'm going to like. It's funny, but is one of the characters I really like. Everybody knows that. But plot-wise, I think Savers delivers better. It's I think characters are not as relatable. I don't know what you think, but
oh no, yeah, I kind of agree. Ashley hasn't seen Savers yet, but I'm excited for her to see it because when we get to it on the podcast, because the plot really stands out to me as some of the most exciting plot. But yeah, the characters, I don't really remember much of the characters. They seem pretty flat. And
I mean, Masaru punches monsters.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's cool, but it's not the sort of thing a person does in their everyday life.
Yeah, it's not very, like, there's no real emotion to that. It's not how real people are. It's just...
You can tell they are fictional characters. Unlike, in my opinion, the characters of Adventure, they feel a little bit more real to me. But that's not why people watch the show. They watch because one of the characters somehow sounds appealing. You don't have to relate to them to like it, right? All right.
Yeah. So Rayana, if you had to summarize Chapter 3 in one word, or summarize your reaction, what would it be? It doesn't have to be an English word.
Oh, that's... If I'm going to pick a Portuguese word, well, that will be doloroso, which vaguely translates to painful. From every perspective. I don't mean just watching the characters suffer. I mean just the heavy atmosphere you feel from the episode.
Oh, yeah.
It has been there since the very beginning, but in this chapter, it's stronger.
We see a lot of crying.
Oh, it's who thought it would be a good idea to make my children cry like this?
Yeah.
But it's a good kind of painful. How can I explain? It's the whole protagonist thing. Protagonist is that we watch the protagonist, we watch the hero facing battle, facing the struggling to evolve, struggling to find their world in the place. And I think the children are facing this kind of struggle. They don't know how to fit in the human world. In the human world when they are digidestined, so they're trying to adjust. they want a world that doesn't exist yet, and I think the epilogue of 02 is a good hint towards the kind of world everybody wishes, but no one can have yet.
Yeah.
We're going to wait, and I think the try is going to eventually is going to deliver the 02 parts everybody has been waiting for. I think it will not contradict the epilogue, not at all. Quite the opposite. I think it will put more strength into it.
What were your favorite parts of this movie?
Oh gosh, we're speaking of Yamato, right? So it was Yamato's blush. So
Yamato's blush.
The blush was great. I looked at it in detail when I was like taking screenshots, and I was like, it's only 3 lines, but those 3 lines do so much.
Those 3 lines mean everything.
They're so small too, but it conveys so much.
Did they really need that? So it was a bit unnecessary, even though I liked the Taichi and Yamato as a ship. So I have to admit, it's too much fun service, I think. If I'm going to be rational about it, I have to be honest about it. That's what I think. But of course, as a fan, I don't mind. Another part I really like was Gomamon's, which is one of Gomamon is my favorite Digimon, chosen Digimon, and that line he delivers to Joe, is your girlfriend even real?
I mean, that was just the best part of the movie. Just straight up.
Yeah, I think that was so great because, like, I think as fans, we've been joking about that Joe's girlfriend doesn't seem real, but, like, I didn't know the show was aware of that joke too, and then they just, like, blew it out of the park. They did the same thing and did it great.
This stuff reads our comments, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
The part Yamato comes over and asks Takeru what's wrong. That was a master level of trolling right there. So Takeru was, I am afraid your band will disband again.
I really liked when Takeru doesn't. He keeps asking Yamato who he's fighting with, and Yamato's like, I'm not fighting with anyone, geez. Like,
why you keep thinking that? Gosh.
No,
Takeru is definitely my favorite Digidestin, and he's living up to being good in Try still.
I have the chance to say this many times over, but I didn't really enjoy his portrayal in 02, so 3 really is a fresh breeze. in this department. I'm loving this Takeru a lot. Really, this is the Takeru I wanted to watch when I first heard about Takeru growing up and showing up on TV again. This is it. So I'm quite happy to say that this is one of my favorites right now. Also, so it's a bit ironic because Takeru, as I said, he wasn't my favorite. He was my least favorite, actually. But right now, it reminds me a lot of how Taichi used to be. For real. That's attitude of that happy-go-lucky attitude of joking about everything. He was the first to joke about Joe's girlfriend, so it's fun to watch. I like it so far.
Any other favorite parts of the movie?
Any other favorite parts? I think I like it all. These are the highlights, but in despite of the suffering tone, I love the scene Takeru hugs Callum in despair. So it's a really moving moment. Oh, right away. When Joe comes to Koushirou's office, yes, I like that a lot.
The smiling and his joking.
I think people joke that he got late.
But we don't think his girlfriend is real, so I don't know.
And what can I say? So far, my expectation has been high. I understand the reasons why Try can be a little bit disappointing to some people, but I think this is a movie that targets our generation. So there is a lot I can complain about, really. But for now, I'm focusing on having fun with this. I'll leave the criticism for later because there is stuff to criticize this about. I'm not going to deny it. There is.
So you don't want to mention your least favorite parts. You want to leave that until after Try's over.
It's obvious. I mean, where are the 0-2 children? Everybody has been wondering about that. So I want to know too. I have nothing against the kids.
Do you have any thoughts about the ships they've been teasing and how they've been teasing it?
Oh, go ahead, please ship all the ship
all of them.
Tease the whole thing, why not? Everybody needs to relax about it and just have fun about it. So why not? I'm surprised a little bit. I'm not saying they're doing wonders to Taichi and Yamato, yes, but keep throwing us all these anime cliché from romance stories. First, it was the fairy wheels. Second, it was the Kamenon with Taichi with Yamato stopping Taichi with his hand on the wall. Yeah. And third, they throw us a blush. All right. What's the point of fan art at this point? But when they announced this series, I actually expected them to develop a little bit more of Sora and Yamato as a couple, and I'm still in that matter because I'm a fan, but I also like to approach Try in a rational point of view, and I can understand the disappointment of not seeing enough of that. So some people see that. Well, why not? I think it's there. It's definitely there. I don't think the Sora and Yamato stop being a couple of us all of a sudden, no matter what the sub says. I accept the fact they are ending game and much frustration of the fandom. It's a legendary topic, but much to my surprise and to my delight, it's Taichi and Yamato who gets the honor so far.
Yeah.
Another couple I'm surprised is Takari, I think.
No, but we all want them. Please give us more. Try.
Another romance cliche after romance cliche. Now it was he's grown up. He's grown up from this.
Yeah.
That's cute.
It's
really.
Fine. I accept it. I accept all its cliche glory.
It's cute. I feel attached to the characters to a point that I just want them to be happy, so it doesn't really matter who ends up with who. Even Taichi. A lot of people are making prophecies. Now, maybe, we don't know, but maybe he might end up with Meiko. I don't know, but as long as as long as the characters don't contradict the personalities for the sake of shipping, that's all cool, really. I believe Meiko will eventually redeem herself. We just watched this movie, and I'm a bit salty. She didn't say a word. And oh, come on, you are the source of the pain. Come on. But I don't blame the character. I'm sure I actually like it. There's a flashback of Meiko when she was younger. I like the way she was portrayed in that flashback. She seemed a lot more confident, and I'm intrigued. I want to know more about that side of her. Hopefully, if the series go deep enough. It's the only way I can imagine myself liking the character, actually liking, and not just accepting the character is essential to the plot. So
I think we should all be shipping Meiko and Sora. Is definitely.
No, it's all Mei Mei and Mimi.
I do ship that.
I do. That's another part I enjoyed. They didn't try to force anything. I think the Meiko blended really well with the group, thanks to Mimi. I think.
So if you had to, like, just your enjoyment of this movie, if you had to rate your enjoyment out of 5 stars, how would you rate it?
Oh, 5. But no, let's be fair. 4 maybe. Because I have this emotional attachment to this series, it's easy to rate it 5, but it's not perfect. This specific movie stands somewhere in between. Okay, 4.5. 4.5, yes. But compared to the first 2 movies, it was a lot better. Although there's parts in that, in my opinion, still felt a bit rushed. I think it's like they have to squish as much content. Time passed by, and we didn't really feel the. There's a scene. I remember now. There's a scene. Koushirou is trying to persuade the children into going to the digital world, and I think that segment could be extended a little bit to make this feel the impact of the fact that Digimon are not there anymore. I must have taken a toll on the children. We saw a little bit of that, a very short glimpse, but I thought that have enough material for another movie. So, but yeah, there's time constraints they have to adjust to. So yeah, in terms of pacing, there's parts that I feel that feel a bit rushed. But they did it a lot better in this third movie than they did in the first.
If you had to compare this movie to the other 2, how would you rank them all now?
The third chapter comes first, in my opinion. I really like it. Then I would put the second on second. And the first chapter on third. I just think it keeps improving from movie to movie. So it's like a gradient, which I expect to. I really hope this pacing keeps improving, and I want it to get even better and better. Please allow me to rate it 10 out of 10. But I'm not sure I will ever do it, because this is not really a masterpiece. It's just, I mean, everybody has been dreaming about 03 series, a tri-series. Everybody wanted it, but at the same time, I feel it was not really needed. So let's admit it. This is all for the sake of fan service, and let's not lie to ourselves in that department. So
it's good fan service.
Yeah.
So far I like it. So everybody likes it, I think.
I guess seeing you speculate in the past a bunch, do you have any speculations you want to, I guess, mention here? Speculations for the other movies? Maybe things that are top of your mind right now. But
this might be a little bit obvious. I'm sorry for that, but I don't like to be too risky. But Michael Mon has been confirmed the source of the virus. I think it's safe to say Alphamon is not a bad guy. The first movie wanted us to believe he is. So they showed up in this third movie, and I think he will turn out to be a good guy, and I believe, at least I hope, he will tell us more about the 02 children. I don't think he's the one who attacked them. I'm not sure, but I don't think he attacked them. I believe he found them unconscious, and that maybe he saved them. At least I hope. But that's a shoot in the dark. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Also, I suspect next movie, Sora's movie, will revolve around her lost connection with Piamon. It's hard to tell yet, but I'm not really convinced this will be about the love triangle at all. I can understand well that reasoning, where that reasoning comes from, but I think this first movie will focus on their mother-like instincts, and it hurts to see someone who basically means the whole life to you, who basically means Sora. The reason Sora gets along with her mother now is thanks to Piamon, and her partner represents a very important part of her childhood growth. Because in the beginning, Sora was a little bit tomboyish, and Piamon was like, "Oh, Sora." She was literally lame in her approaches. She was all kawaii, cute, cutie towards Sora, and Sora was like, "Ew, seriously? I have to deal with this clingy Digimon now." But she grew into the kind of character who doesn't really feel embarrassed about such trivial things anymore. She's more honest about her feelings in that matter. And well, I think we'll have some suffering for Sora. Loss is the title of the movie, if I'm not wrong. And I think that's the loss they're talking about. They lost their bonds, and they're trying to. Well, Ho-Homon shows up in the poster, so I believe we will see Piamon's ultimate evolution at least. Mega evolution. I think that connection will be, of course, it will be restored.
You think the memories will come back?
I think
the reboot will be rebooted.
Yeah, I believe. Maybe it's. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it's so obvious they are going to remember their partners. But at the same time, it will be brave of them to start all over. It will be really brave, and I don't think they will walk that path. I didn't think they will dare into this topic at all. So maybe knock on the wood. And I think Sora is the right character to represent that bond every children have. It's not just Sora. Everybody lost their memories, right? And every Digimon lost their memories. But because Sora's crest is all about love and maternal love. And actually, in this movie, I forgot who says it, but someone jokes about how it feels like to have kids.
Yeah.
Having a Digimon is like having children. I think it's Joe. I can't remember. It's a good analogy to make. Sora is mother of a group. Sora is all mother like. Her crest is about is about love too. Mother love too. That's it. That's what I expect. So.
Do you have any hopes? I know on Twitter you've mentioned that the Sora, Taichi, Yamato love triangle is important to you. So. Oh
yes, because I like the three characters. I don't really root for any particular ship or anything. Oh, all right, I like Taito, but I've watched the epilogue. I don't have many hopes. So sadly, let's be realistic. But. Don't wow. They're revisiting so many episodes of Adventure. I think it's a matter of time until we get the Tri version of episode 51 with Taichi on Yamato's arms one way or another. It's just joking, but I expect I could be wrong, but I want Taichi and Yamato to come in terms. And in a sense, this third film felt a bit anticlimactic in the sense that Daichi didn't say anything, but Yamato, all of a sudden, from one moment to another, he tried to be more understanding. And that threw me a little bit off guard. I thought they would fight a little bit longer, and Sora would eventually turn out to be the one person who will put a stop to the antics. And right now, I'm not sure this will happen. Because it seems Yamato is trying to understand what's on Taichi's mind, on actual peaceful meanings, on actual peaceful meanings.
Do you have any other? I mean, we're at the end of the questions I had prepared, but do you have any other like things that, in general, comments about Try or this movie that you wanted to get to that you didn't get a chance to mention?
When I watched 02, there were many aspects that had me intrigued and that I expected them to answer, and such as where did Ken's crest come from? Where that's one of the many points I can show an example of. But when Try was announced, I was like, will they try to cover up these things? No, right now I can say they will not, obviously. They're literally trying to make a story of their own. They're not trying to cover any potholes. They're not trying to make anything in the past sound more reasonable. They're not making an effort at all. It's like, what's in the past, it's in the past. It doesn't matter. Let's take this character and see what we can do from now on. One of my expectations in the past was that they will cover up those roles, but no, not anymore. I don't know what else to say, really, because I'm just waiting for the next 3 movies, and only then I will feel. Only then, when the 6 movies are out, I will be more relaxed, and then I will be able to pass fair judgments. Until then, I don't think it's fair.
If you want to hear more of Rayana's thoughts, you can find her on Twitter at Rainbow09. That's Rainbow, the letter O, and then 9. You can find more of her artwork at RW09, that's with a 0, not an O, .deviantart.com. Her artwork is seriously amazing, and she has lots of other Digimon pieces, especially Taichi and Yamato, so you should definitely check it out. She's also currently organizing a 30-day Digimon Try writing prompt challenge on Tumblr, which you can find on Tumblr with the tag 30 Days of Try.
Our next guest is Callum May, creator and host of The Canapa Effect, an anime YouTube channel with reviews and educational spotlights into the anime industry.
Digimon is one of the few things that I think I actually feel nostalgic for. Because there's all of those franchises that we really get into as kids. I wasn't as into Digimon as I was with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But Yu-Gi-Oh! I've never returned to, and Pokemon I never actually left. So with now getting back into Digimon with Cyber Sleuth and Digimon Try, it's this weird feeling of, oh, this is what nostalgia is.
So which seasons, just to give your DNA for people, other Digimon fans, which seasons have you seen and which is your favorite among them?
I've seen, oh god, okay, it was ages ago, but I've seen Digimon Adventure. I don't think I've seen all of Digimon Adventure 2, but I've certainly seen a significant part of it. And I've watched the Digimon movie, I'm sure of that. And Digimon Tamers as well. And see, I want to say Tamers is my favorite, but Try is actually kind of, I feel like Try's overtaking it for me. And I didn't think I'd say that after having seen the first film.
Well.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Yeah. Would you say that after the second one or only after the third one?
After the second one. I think the second one, the first one is completely meaningless. Nothing happens in that film. Even the conflict has zero actual reason to it until it's explained in the partway through the second, confirmed in the third. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's really there just to be a really slow introduction, and like, the one cathartic moment was just like, oh, they're reunited again, great.
But that moment was so bad.
Yeah, that was so poorly executed.
just the I'm gonna run up and hug on a hill, great, and then life as usual apparently.
Even the hill moment I thought was okay, but the moment with all the Digimon lined up, and like you don't even see the reunion for most of them. You just like, oh, we're here, and we don't know why we're here.
And they're like in the middle, like Greymon's in the middle of a battle, and then they all just talk, and you're like, what is Greymon doing? Like, what? Kawagamon isn't just chilling? Like, this doesn't make sense.
Oh.
And then suddenly in the second film, it's like there's been a time skip or something, that they're just chilling about.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really awkward about like explaining how much time has or hasn't elapsed. Like, I think there was a significant amount of time between the first and second movie.
They really should have, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's between 2 and 3, it's just like the next day or maybe the same day. And
yeah.
And that's also weird because I guess it's weird for you because you, I guess it's more natural for you actually because you watched them with a big gap between 1 and 2 and then 2 and 3 immediately after each other. But,
yeah. So it was somehow perfect for me.
Yeah, but for people who saw them right after they came out, it was like you wait 6 months between movies, and in the time of the movie, it's just been a day. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We really left that in the middle. So diving into specific thoughts about Chapter 3, if you had to summarize your reaction to Chapter 3 in one word, what would it be?
Oh, God.
Give me more than one word.
3 words.
Yeah, thanks, but one word's a bit cruel. Return to form, maybe? An actual climax? Or just simply the word conflict? I don't know. The third film was the part where I started thinking of Digimon Tri less as a sort of like thing for the fans, just here's a cool thing, here's what they're up to now, and more as a actual story of its own. Because I feel that Digimon Tri, as of the third film, is now a story, whilst the other two, it felt like it was just them trying to get those moments from childhood back.
Yeah, like the other ones felt like they had specific things in mind and just had like really flimsy, barely a story holding up the connections between them. And he was like, oh, you get a glimpse of their daily lives, but not much more than that. And now there's like, a driving conflict. Did you have any favorite parts?
Oh God, the moment when, like, the climax of the film when they're trying to drag Mirkomon into the
like weird field
distortion sort of portal thing, and I kind of like that they fail, as malicious as that sounds, because it's one of the few examples in Digimon where he has a plan. They all get the Digivolutions going. They even get to the ultimate evolutions, and then they fail. And I really like that they put so much into that battle, and obviously the whole song plays. And God, every dramatic moment can be like summed up by that's when they play the song. And but I just love that they put so much into it and absolutely failed. But actually, my favorite scene was because since I haven't seen Digimon Adventure in ages, when they blew the whistle, initially I had no idea what that was. But the fact that I was like, there's a whistle, there's some relevance to a whistle in Digimon Adventure. And then I finally saw it in the show, and they recreated all those moments. And then suddenly I saw the whistle. I was like, oh, it's that whistle. And it's this, the fact that I'd forgotten it suddenly made it interesting.
Yeah, because they probably put you in a very similar headspace to the characters probably forgot it and then were reminded of it, and then we're like, oh, that whistle.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that place in so long, and it was like, oh, that's the exact parting, and then they went down here and over those rocks.
Rocks, yay!
yeah, I love those rocks.
Any more favorite parts?
I think the lead up to I really liked the lead up to when all of the Digimon knew there was going to be a reboot happening, and that they kind of went and said, oh, let's do all these fun things, and just those moments kind of settled into what was the ideal real life.
So we've talked a lot of, just in passing, about like complaints in general, but do you have any like really big complaints about this movie? Anything that like really stood out to you and frustrated you, or anything else that was not good?
What's his name? The reveal at the end.
Jenai,
that's it. Fuck that reveal.
You didn't like that?
No, I'm fine with it being Jenai. I hate that he was disguised as the Digimon Emperor, though. Because the entire time I was convinced through the second and third films, we're like, there's something's happened to, because that's been the whole tension the entire time, that the cast of the second season are trapped in the Digimon world, and then suddenly we see one of them, but oh no, it's Jenai.
Yeah, it's extreme, like teasing us with something and then be like, nope, we're taking that completely away from you.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact that they're entirely unsubtle with, I'm doing the names forgetting things. Maki, yeah. How every time something bad happens, close up, evil smirk. Oh no, what's she up to?
I'm like, could you try harder to emphasize the smirk, please? Try harder.
Maybe she could walk off with a cackling laugh.
Yeah, she has to step it up eventually.
Well, it's an interesting perspective because, like, for people who watched them with months between chapter 2 and 3, in chapter 2 it was only one smirk, and it was like right at the end in a moment that didn't really, like, it was there was no other indication of it, and like I at the time was like, didn't even know if it was intentional. You know, like there were so many awkward moments in chapters 1 and 2 of like just poor execution that I was like, maybe this is just a mistake that was going to be fixed on the Blu-ray or something. But then chapter 3 is just all over the place, so no way.
Yeah, see, I liked the one in the second movie because it never, because I think that was something bad.
It was like right after Meikumon like destroyed Leomon.
Yeah. And then they all said, oh no, we have to go after Meikumon. I thought that she was smirking because, oh good, everyone's on the same page that we need to get Meikumon. I thought she was just being a bit malicious about it. But then there was also combined the fact that she put Meikumon in that exact spot. Yeah, and it was, the way it was framed was a bit weird. So I enjoyed that bit. I know it basically got into the heads that, okay, she's evil, or at least she's taking a malicious route to what could be a good path. But yeah, the third film is just like, oh no, just so you know, I'm happy with this development. But yeah, and I'm not so sure she is evil yet. Yeah, I think the films are desperate to make us want to think she's evil, but I think they're all after the same goal, and there's some big threat, but she's taking a drastic route towards doing it.
Do you have any thoughts what that threat is?
I don't think they got rid of the infection, because they had the whole flickering stuff happening when they went back to the world. I think they need to get rid of Mick, or at least Maki and Jenai want to get rid of Meikumon indefinitely and save the world. But I definitely think it's going to end up being the Digidestins trying to defend Meikumon and trying to find another route, which they'll inevitably find. Because maybe it's just my own sensibilities that I really like villains who have their own idea of what is the right thing and are trying to save the world in their own way. But I genuinely think that they have the same goals of wanting to save the world, but have different ways of doing it.
It's a little frustrating because like they're definitely acting very evil. And if it turns out that like, oh, we actually had something good in mind all along, it's going to be a little frustrating to be like, but then why'd you act so evil about it?
There's still so many questions about like, where are the 02 kids? Why did nobody ask about Ken's D3? Maki just having it, like, what?
Yeah.
there's just like a complete lack of suspicion of Maki, even though she clearly like does things that are suspicious.
Even when they find out that they've known that Mecha One was the issue the whole time, it's like, okay, that's fine then. It doesn't matter anymore, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one line of, oh, if only you told us earlier, and that's it. That's the only problem.
And then they're like, it's fine. We understand. You liked Mekomon. We forgive you, I guess.
But I am so looking forward to seeing the 02 cast in the films, because it's kind of the same thing. When the visual for Digimon Tri came out, and it was like, oh, this is how they all grew up. Well, this is what they look like now. Well, a load of other people complained. I think that's good. I really want to see what the Digimon 2 cast looks like now.
Yeah, it seems like they have laid the groundwork for like, okay, put them to the side for a while because everyone cares about Adventure more, but like now they've built up so much demand over the year since Tri first came out that like, if they revealed a visual of the 02 kids growing up, everyone would be like, oh great, we can't wait to see them in the movie.
Yeah, you can't start off the Digimon the first Digimon Tri film with saying the Digimon 2 kids are missing, and then just go, oh, you expected us to show them? Oh, in fact, in the third film, because there was a bit of a gap between them going back into the distortion and then the reboot happening. I was sure that they'd made it to the point, and they were going to all suddenly reveal, like at the end of the film, "Oh no, we remember you. We succeeded."
And then when they didn't,
happen. Yeah, and then as soon as they said, "Who are you?" just that is what sets the third film as my favorite. Just something as simple as that. As I mentioned it before, but failure.
So you consider the third movie your favorite of the three? Is that right?
Yeah.
If you had to rate the other two, then how would the ranking of all three of them be?
2 stars for the first film. Actually, this is really easy. 2 stars for the first film, 3 stars for the second film. Oh, actually no. Because I'm suddenly remembering I really liked the second film as well. Maybe 4 stars for second and third, and 2 stars for the first.
The third would like edge out too if they had to go head to head.
Yeah.
Do you have predictions for? I mean, we've kind of talked in passing about all these things, but predictions about like if you think Alphamon, Genai, Maki, or Mako are evil?
I don't think. I think the one that we haven't talked about is the Mekomon. I don't think it's evil. I think it's the whole product that like that's just who he is, but he wants to reject it. So
yeah,
and then but the future. See, if I'm optimistic, next film they team up with the cast of the series 2 in at the very end they have a big final battle, and then it's 2 more, like another film, like film 5 would be another cool adventure in the Digimon worlds, and then the final film will be back to the real world. That's what I'm hoping, but I get this feeling that what they're going to do is they're going to get all all of their old Digimon, then just take them back, and then there'll be more character drama. Which I feel like everything that they could have done in the real world has now been done in terms of character drama. The only character drama that needs to be done is through like exactly what happened through the first and second season, an adventure. Yeah, like, if they're going to continue calling it Digimon Adventure Tri, I want to see an adventure in the next 2 films.
Yeah, although, I mean, the second season didn't really have much of an adventure, and they kept...
Yeah, they just went home every night.
Yeah. It was a field trip adventure.
A field trip.
They basically wear field trips. Have you seen the poster for the next movie?
I am going to look it up right now, because I just realized I actually haven't. I've seen it, like... posted, like I've seen small versions of it, but I haven't seen the full thing.
Yeah, and I can see you might want to wait until you see the movies first before, looking at it in detail.
Yeah, but the film 4 poster is actually a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's breaking the formula. It's not like two kids and their Digimon up against a villain. It's like Sora with Tai and Matt. So I don't know if you recognize the form of, but like the Phoenix like thing is, I guess one of the names is Phoenixmon, and it's Biomon's ultimate or mega form.
Oh yeah. That does seem to be a theme.
Yeah, but do you think, like, what do you think about if there's going to be Biomon's mega form in this next movie? Like, do you think that's going to mean that the memory wipe has been, retconned somehow, or they're going to regain the memories?
Yeah, I'm still not sure. I've barely had time to process that, because when that battle was happening, I was sure it wouldn't happen. And at least I never thought they'd find each other so quickly. I genuinely, like, as soon as they stepped back into the Digimon world, I thought they were going to get new Digimon to help them find the old ones. So
that would be so interesting.
That'd be such a weird dynamic. Like, oh crap, we didn't want two of them. Oh, come on.
This is becoming Pokemon.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want them to at least have a chance to try and build up their old relationships before they do some magic where all the memories are back.
But yeah, in like the top of this poster, there's a little Digimon there, Tapirmon. Oh, what's his other name? What's the Japanese name?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's Bakumon, not Bakumon, Bakumon.
Oh, Bakumon.
Yeah, and not the manga series Bakumon. Anyway,
making this more confusing. Tapirmon.
Yeah, Tapirmon, the English name. Supposedly, like the random BS Digimon lore about the Digimon is that it deals with memory and stuff. So yeah,
that's convenient.
A little too convenient. And I don't know about you, but I'm personally like, if they just find some plot mechanism to restore the memories, I'm worried that it will kind of undercut a lot of the, like, what was good about this movie. And
yeah, I was genuinely distraught. I was like, oh no, that's 2 seasons worth of content, worth of development gone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any other route to that if they need to get to her ultimate evolution by the end of the movie.
Or they manage to kind of they might do the whole power of friendship sort of thing where they all level up into ultimate champion evolutions, and then that somehow triggers their memory or something.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
The whole message of, even if you don't remember me, I still love you, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they'll play that exact same song in every single film.
I mean, I think generally the music was better handled in this movie than the first two.
Oh yeah, when they suddenly realized that the reboot had happened, the fact that they cut the sounds, genuinely a good decision. Because I feel that hearing the characters cry would actually soften the impact, because we've got the same reaction to them. We've been with these characters this whole time, and we completely understand it. We don't need to hear the characters be distraught, because we can totally understand it. And I think the silence gave us the chance to reflect on it.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the imagery of imagery isn't the right word, but like the audio imagery of a bomb going off, like, and then just cutting to silence instead. Just like, it feels like that is the impact. Like, now you've, like, everything's gone silent. Like, you're now dealing with the impact, and like you're disconnected and everything, just like the characters.
Yeah.
So wrapping things up, were there any things you wanted to say about the movie that you didn't come up in conversation? Things that you've been like waiting, like hot on your mind all day, and you were like, I need to say that.
No, except I genuinely I want to get to the series 2 cast already. I feel like we're. It sounds bad, but I feel like we are done with the first cast in terms of the whole development, and I want to see what sorts of people like, especially Ken is like, because he had that whole switch of personalities, and throughout the second film I was convinced he'd gone evil, but
yeah, and even like just looking at Adventure in 02, we've seen the Adventure kids not twice as much, but like, more than the 02 kids. And I just feel like we have so little. We see, you saw Adventure kids grow up once, and now seeing them grow up again, you're like, okay, I can kind of connect the dots. But the 02 kids, you only see one time at one point in their life. So like finding out a second snapshot of their life is like kind of much more important and much more unknown. So I think it'll be really exciting if/when they eventually reveal. Hope they have to, but
and there's a part of me just because I want to see the fallout. I want them to put an Atmon in it.
Just to troll everyone.
Just to screw everyone up. Just no explanation, no reasoning. Just have an Atmon just show up.
You know what I think they should do? I think they should switch the animation style for the 6th movie to be the Pokemon Sun Moon animation style, just to make everyone mad. If you want to hear more of Callum's thoughts, you can find him on Twitter at Canapa Show, and you can watch his YouTube show with reviews of anime and educational spotlights into the anime industry by searching for The Canapa Effect. You can find the full show notes for this episode by going to Podigious.com/T3.1. You can leave us feedback in the comments section on the site, or you can just let us know your thoughts on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Reddit, email, With the Will, SoundCloud, YouTube, Skywriting, Foreboding Prophecies, or Color-Coded Smoke Signals.
Podigious is made possible with the support from our awesome Patramon, David Grauman, Diab Jomon, Joe Keto, Kai Lunamon, Kaiser Washi, Michael Penny, Red from Breakfast with Digimon on SoundCloud, and Sam Kriwagamon from the Moncast on SoundCloud.
If you want to support the show on Patreon, you can get some cool rewards, like access to our private Slack chat group for $1 a month, monthly stickers for $5 a month, and early episodes for $10 a month.
You can find Podigious on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook to keep up with the Digimons and get funny images and GIFs related to the show. You can find me on Twitter at AshMcD00.
And you can find me on Twitter at JeffOnlyJeff. Our Takeru and Koushirou Try Chapter 3 artwork is by the awesome Rayana, or RW09, whose voice you heard this episode. You should definitely check out our DeviantArt page to see lots of other really awesome Digimon pieces. We'll also have links in our show notes to our personal site, Pixiv, Tumblr, and Twitter. And join us next time as we wrap up Tamers. Bye! And remember, never stop Digivolving. Welcome to Podigious, episode T3.1, Confession, Decompression, Procession, Digression. Do you think that's
I didn't realize that was the title of this.
I was trying to think of things that rhymed with confession, and then it turns out if you search for confession in WikiRhymer, there are a lot of things that rhyme with shun.
I mean, lots of things end in shun. That's what you learned.
Yep.
Ugh.
I mean, it's a digression from Tamers of a procession of people decompressing about confession.
Podigious is your critically nostalgic.
No. We need to clear. Yeah, wait, so you don't hear any of the music now, is that right?
No, I don't.
Okay, well that's
I don't either.
strange.
Am I supposed to?
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh, okay. None of us do.
It
That's
should
good.
be working, but... Oh, wait, no, I see why that's not working. I think now they're... Whoa, okay.
Okay, oh, okay.
All right, so that was the missing piece. Okay, I figured out.
I haven't heard that millions of times already. I didn't
Yeah,
loop
Jeff
that
hasn't
constantly. Yeah. I've watched that episode twice already. I didn't have to, I just wanted to.
Thank God for YouTube auto-looping playlists.
Yeah,
I have a playlist of just that one song. Yeah. Okay, cool. You only heard like a second of it, right? Like...
Jeffrey, that's all
yeah,
we need.
but I recognized it. I knew what it was. Yeah.